QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022 OneNote Presentation Item Lists. Let's get into it with Intuit's QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022. If you have access to OneNote, would like to follow along, not required to, but if would like to, icon on the left-hand side, Topic Introductions, and the 1600 Topic Lists tab. Also note, take a look at the Immersive Reader tool, Topic Introductions, also in the text area, same name, same number, but with transcripts that can be translated into multiple different languages and either listened to or read in them. Same name and number as the presentation. As well, the topic introductions designed to give an introduction to the topic, provide screenshots, links when applicable, and accounting background to complement the presentations, noting that you can use the screenshots to follow along with the presentations if you don't have access to QuickBooks at the time you're watching them. Closing the icon, we're looking at the item lists. First shot is the home page. You can get to the item lists from the home page. I typically like to get there by going to the drop down, however. First, let's take a look at what the item lists are there to do. They're going to be a supporting activity, usually done when you set up the company file, like most lists, similar to the general ledger, one of the other primary lists. When you have an invoice, when you populate the invoice, this item down here is an item that was generated in the item list, which would represent inventory and or service items, making the population of the invoice and possibly a bill when you buy the inventory and the purchase order if you're purchasing inventory, as well as the sales receipts, easier to populate. They can be found, I prefer to find them by going to the lists drop down, then to the item list. Here is the item list. So we have the name of the items, which could be service or inventory items in general. The description on the right-hand side, these up top are service items. Then we have the inventory parts on down below. And so then you could edit some of the items if you click on the item and edit an item. Here's a look at the data input, which is similar to if you added an item, this being a service item. So it's a service item up top, easier to deal with. Because there's no inventory, we're not tracking inventory, so we just have the name, we've got the rate, we've got the description, we have whether it's taxable or not, that being sales tax, service items in the United States typically not being taxed, the account that's going to be assigned to it, that being an income account down below. Then we have an inventory part. This is one that's going to be more complex because it has inventory we're going to be tracking within the system. So now you've got the part, the inventory part, the name, primary components, the description down below, and you have a cost, the amount we purchase it for, and the amount that goes to cost of goods sold when we expense it, the account of cost of goods sold used when we sell the inventory part on a perpetual inventory method, increasing that account, which is in essence an expense account, the preferred vendor, which we don't have to populate but can, that's who we typically purchase the inventory part from, the price we sell at, not populated in this case, whether it be taxable or not, inventory parts much more likely to be taxable in the United States with regards to sales tax, and the income account that will be impacted when we sell the inventory using an invoice and or a sales receipt type of form. We have the non-inventory part, much less common to be used unless you're using like a job cost construction kind of system. Similar kind of layout up top, but you got this item here says this item is used in assemblies or in purchase of specific customer jobs. Again, that's going to be kind of specific to a job cost system. This is non-cost inventory is an item you might use when you're looking at inventory kind of parts, but you don't want to track the inventory within the system, but you want to recognize that it's kind of a non-inventory type of part in that fashion.